Welcome to the Hyphy Living Podcast, episode 8. And today we have a special guest as usual, but this is a different type of special guest.
Yeah, we want to do something different, man. We want to do something different. We want to bring somebody who's an artist, who's a black-owned business. You know what I mean? We wanted somebody. We got to support each other. You know, definitely, because a lot of people ain't gonna support us.
Yeah.
So we got to have each other's back. So now. And I followed him on Instagram. I seen his work, and I was like, I want to work. I want to do a podcast. I want him to tell us our story, man. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Well, thank you guys for inviting me. My name is Mo. You can find my work on Instagram at MF the Brand. When you reached out, said you wanted to do a podcast, I was excited. Again, something you mentioned, black business owners supporting each other. That's been something that I feel like the foundation of my business is built upon, telling black stories, elevating black creators, and opportunity to work with black creators. So I was excited to just come and have a conversation and just uplift each other and tell our own stories. And so thank you guys for having me.
Oh, of course, man. That's what's up. So could you talk a little bit more about your business? What do you do exactly?
So I do art. I paint. I draw.
So you're a painter?
I'm a painter.
Okay.
Acrylic, oil. That's kind of like the mediums that I use right now.
Okay. That's hard. I ain't no artist, but especially during this quarantine,
right?
I ain't had no others. I'm over there looking on YouTube. Now, in real life, I'm looking on YouTube, trying to be an artist. I think everybody tried it.
No, I gave up on that a long time.
Man,
I was the dude like if you're in school and you got like an assignment to draw something.
Yeah.
I'll be the one tracing. You know what I'm saying? I put the paper over and just trace the stuff.
Man, I salute people. I salute you, bro.
It's crazy.
It's hard.
It's hard.
And I like how you put your art into your clothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like something you got off. You put this piece and this piece and this
Yeah.
piece. No, you design this yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I really like this. That's dope.
So again, like you mentioned with art and drawing, you're doing it on canvas or paper or whatever it is. And for me, it took a while for me to start sharing my art. I used to draw when I was little, when I was like 10 or 11. And then when high school started, I got into sports and the art thing kind of went away. So growing up, I was into basketball, track, tennis, cross country, sports, you name it. And it wasn't until like 4 years ago when I moved here to San Jose for a job here with the San Jose Sharks that I was getting my first apartment like by myself in a new city, and I was like, I want to decorate my apartment. What am I looking for? How do I can kind of make my home feel great and make me feel good to come home. So I thought instead of like buying art, I thought why not just create art myself. So that's basically where it kind of started from. So I went to Michael's and bought some canvas. And
is that what got you started? Like, was that what inspired you really to do art?
Yes. So the inspiration was for myself. I wanted to create something that made me feel good for coming home. So and it's a lesson that it ended up coming back full circle that I tell people all the time. Like, do things for you, like things that you love enjoying, and then then you don't care too much, what other people think, if people like it or don't. So that's basically where it started from. I wanted to create nice art so that when I came home, I was like, this is beautiful. I love, my art. I love my home. So it kind of started with that, and I started with one piece, and I was like, okay, this is not so bad. Kind of like haven't done it since I was like 11 years old, and for 10, 12 years later, and I was like, okay, this is not so bad.
Yeah.
And then
it's crazy because like, I wonder if you had this experience too. Like if you did something back in the day, and you stop doing it for a while, and then you come back to it, like it feels like you never left it. Like it just feels like your body like remembers.
Yeah,
I'm like that with sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I might not have that athleticism I used to have.
Yeah.
Like when you was young and you was moving and stuff like that. But I feel like you don't lose that touch, especially in basketball. You feel like some things in basketball you can't you just can't let go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know how to dribble.
You bounce that ball too
some
long.
of the nuance is correct. It kind of comes back.
You can't bounce too long. You know how with double dribble. You know.
Yeah.
Nah. You know what I mean? Because if you see somebody who played basketball all their life and didn't go nowhere or whatever, and you still somebody who never played basketball, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though they haven't played it forever.
Yeah.
But you know. They have that
even if they're rusty,
you know?
when they start playing, you can still see the nuances.
Okay,
I can tell this person play at this level and that level. That's
his
good.
basketball IQ or his sports IQ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Art. You know, people always say art isn't sports. You know.
It is actually.
You know what I mean?
I would agree. And someone who plays sports all growing up, it is. It's a form of of expression.
Yeah.
You know, playing basketball, there's different styles, and again, different people express it different way. LeBron James, whether it's the dunk, Steph Curry, it's the threes, and then there's different things people do within that that art form. Whether it is Steph Curry with the mouthpiece. You know, I just did a piece of him, and that was like a key component. When someone saw it, it was like, that is so him.
Yeah.
So it's part of his artistic expression. So that's basically kind of like how I kind of started. Where did it from my apartment. And then little by little, I was like, oh, this is good. And then I started letting people see it a little bit. And then people was like, oh, that's not so bad. That's not so bad.
I'll pay for it.
Well, so I did a few things for my apartment, and I was happy with it. And then one day, me and one of my colleagues, she actually became like a really good friend of mine now, Jessica, we went to Forever 21 in the mall, and she was looking for something to buy. And I saw like this denim hat. It had like 90s on it. And I saw the hat, and I was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with that. So that hat literally spearheaded into me putting stuff on clothing and stuff. So I saw the hat, and I was like, I want to paint all 90s cartoon characters on it. I wish I would have brought it, because it's like that hat has been like the thing that kind of told my story.
We'll put it all in the pod. You know what I mean? We'll show all his merch. That's next thing we're gonna talk about. All his merch and everything. We have all this stuff. Send it to me or send it to him. And we'll put it all right now. We'll show it. We'll put his Instagram in. We're gonna put all your stuff in.
Okay.
Do you also customize shoes or no?
I've done it for myself. I haven't done it for other people.
He's an artist, man. I feel like
again, anything I can paint on, So I did that hat, and I did like that 90s character, and I did it for myself. Again, it's never been about trying to do stuff so people can like it or trying to do stuff so people can buy it. It's always been to express myself and make something that is unique. So like putting the 90s character on it, I never seen that many characters on the hat. It was different, and I knew that by creating that hat for me, no one else would have it. And then I wore it, and I took a picture on it or whatever, like Instagram and Snapchat and whatever, and everybody was like, oh, can you make me one? Can I get one? And I was like, that hat took me a month. So I definitely can't give you one. And if you want one, you gotta pay for it.
Right,
so that's how it kind of started. And I started doing hats for people. So again, Alex being one of the first people, he wanted me to do a hat for him. So I did like a Prop Family hat for him, and I did like a Celtics hat for him. So I would take like different cartoon characters that I grew up watching, whether it was like Boondocks characters, hey Arnold, SpongeBob, and different people like that. And I started, painting on it, and then they just kind of grew. People started asking to make stuff for them.
And I think I was talking to you about this earlier. You know how we always want people to do. I always tell them that people doing what they love is the most important job ever.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, why would you want to go every day to 8 to 5 and you ain't loving your job? What you doing? You know what I mean? Life is. You know what I mean?
Life is short. And
the funny thing about that is, it's like for some reason, it feels like a millennial thought process.
Yeah.
I feel like our parents, my parents, what the fuck are you talking about? When I said I was gonna go to film school, they'd be like, man, if you don't go be an engineer or something. Because I feel like they grew up in a time where you had to do things to survive and not to live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And our generation be like, money is cool, but happiness is way better.
Way better, man.
It's
the mind of peace.
Correct.
Exactly.
You had to sacrifice, doing what you love to do for doing what you needed to do.
Exactly.
And
not anymore.
Hey, once we start making money on this pod, we're gonna start doing, just
right.
Fuck that
but right now. For right now, though.
Right now, there's a duality, and I feel
you
like
gotta do both right now.
Once you get into your button level,
That's
the job.
250 mil.
right, that's it. You know,
That's
it's
what
out,
you do. You know, that's
you have to grind
Help
until
us. Help us.
Yeah. you have to grind until the passion project can support itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you don't have to work for anybody anymore. You could just, do what you do. But at the beginning you have to grind, you have to do the work that's paying the bills. To use that to be able to support, the art or, the podcast stream and things of that nature. So yeah.
Now, don't you you just dropped some merch, right? How long ago was this?
So I've been dropping merch at least this year.
Was it shirts?
I've dropped some shirts, some sweatshirts, for two different designs. One of the ones that I'm wearing.
Are they sold out, or can we still get some?
There's still some.
All right. That's what we want to know.
I do limited drop, but I keep it enough where, again, it's still new. Okay. So I feel like I get DMs and stuff from people that discover me, weekly or monthly. Yeah. So, granted, I want my stuff to be limited and, to be special.
It's not for everybody.
Very true. Very true. So I want the people that have it to feel special. And feel like a lot of people don't have that.
Gotcha.
So I try to,
So y'all, there's some left, okay? After watching this podcast, click on the link below and go get
like you said earlier, he drops I don't know what else, but you drop art, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you whatever, I think you got a website too, don't you?
I do have a website.
If you drop something on that website
down here,
and you ask them,
go
hit them
get
up
it.
For everything.
Go get it before it's sold. This is a limited series, okay?
Hey, I'm telling you.
It ain't for everybody.
I think another thing I was talking about earlier, it only takes one.
Correct.
You know what I mean? How you were telling me about that jean jacket.
Tell that story again.
Yeah. So, me being someone who, again, I love my art to travel. So again, putting that first, those cartoon and that 90s hat, kind of inspired just my business and how I like to put my art on merchandises. So with the first hat, people started hitting me and said, oh, I want, make me this. So I started taking customs. So I went from custom on denim hats, I started putting on denim jackets. From denim jackets, I started putting on fanny packs. So anything that I could kind of like paint on, I was painting on. And one of the key thing about my brand is that anything that I physically paint on with my hands, I only make it once. So if I physically paint on it, I'm not duplicating it.
Yeah.
But there's certain things like the sweatshirt that I'm wearing. Like if I put it on the sweatshirt and I don't physically paint on it, then I mass produce.
Okay.
So that people can have it. So with me putting stuff on brand and making customer stuff for people, doing research and finding out different things on the internet. And one of the artists that I like, that I follow, Pierre Moss, he's a big black artist. I love it because his art is a lot of social activism. Not only does he make great artwork, but his messaging and his support for black people is awesome, and it's something that I strive to do, and trying to elevate the black experience, the black culture, and black people with my art. And I was looking up his story in one of the interviews he gave, where he talks about there was this denim jacket that he had, I think, in his studio and whatnot, and one of his friends came by and saw it and was like, oh, this is really dope. And I think he borrowed it or wanted to have it, one or the other, but he gave it to his friend who was a stylist, and somehow that friend knew someone who knew Rihanna, and somehow that jacket ended up on Rihanna somewhere, and she got photographed in it.
I think she wore it at a basketball game, didn't she?
Something like that. She got photographed in it, and then he went like viral, and everybody wanted to know like who made that jacket. And that's kind of like.
Isn't Pierre like her partner in Fendi? Yeah, I think they do that stuff together.
Not Fendi.
Maybe not Fendi.
Pierre Moss has a partnership with Reebok.
Oh, okay.
He does stuff with Reebok.
Okay.
And one of the things I love about him is that he dictates, what he produces and what he put out there. Because a lot of time, like with this independence, or just having creative control. Yeah. Because I'm someone who I have creative control of what I put out. Yeah. No one rushes me and say you need to make this, you need to make that. Everything that I make 100%. Is out of inspiration and a message that I want to tell. Exactly. So artists like him who basically, you work with these big brands, whether it's the Reeboks or the Nikes or the Gucci's of the world, whatever, they can come and say, we want you to create this for certain things or whatever. And he's someone who, he doesn't go by that rule.
Right.
He does his stuff and he sends a message out. So an up and coming kind of like an artist and designer, for me, is controlling your message, controlling what you're going to put out there is so important, and that's something
that's why I think black people need to stick. Like, you know, we need to stick with each other. We need to help each other out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We really got to help each other out, because we don't see that much in the black world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
it needs to be more. You know what I mean?
Especially in fashion.
Especially in fashion.
Because a lot of us, and well, not me, but a lot of us, we prefer to invest in Gucci and Louis V than to invest in our own brands and our own fashion.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Like there's this fashion clothing line. It's called Reason. It's based in New York. Do you know of Reason?
Not too much.
Anyways, it's black owned, and we do a lot of like African prints as well, and the designs are very like the colors pop out and stuff
very
like that.
Rich, yeah.
Okay, sure, they're a little expensive a little bit, but you pay 5 times more for Gucci and
Louis,
for the rest
you know
of
what I
it. You put that money in the community, you can have more of us.
And then half those people that own that business don't even like black people.
Correct.
You all know Gucci and the racist black face, and y'all still buy it. Like y'all should be ashamed. Y'all should be embarrassed. Your block card should be questioned.
But we saying that now, but we all own something.
Well, you know, it's the thing, because
I own some Reason.
What Gucci stands for is like the aspiration.
Yeah.
It's the luxury, right? And you know, with everything that's been happening right now, I think, like you mentioned, it's important to support each other and to collaborate.
Yeah.
And have people that you know just like back each other. And again, it's not even asking like the outside world, just like the people that you know, like your friends, you know,
that's
people. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
And we have to get away from friends and people that when you're a business owner and you know a startup, you create stuff and
half
people
price.
want like the half price
discount,
or the discount, or you tell them you're proud.
Get the fuck out of here.
Or you tell them you're proud and they're like, oh my god, like, you know, this is that. And that's one thing I learned early on that you mentioned earlier. My art isn't for everyone.
Right.
So if you know you see it and it's outside of your price range, great. Like there's many things out there, but don't disrespect my work by telling me that I should give you a discount because I know you.
That's disrespectful.
You know, or who do I think I am by pricing it this way? Where you stand in line and get the same J's that they reproduce every year, just different color. You pay $200-$300 for it, but you want me to custom make something that I take hours and hours to make and give it to you for $40 because you know me. We have to get outside of that mindset. So like I'm lucky that I have some friends that like, you know, I want you to make me stuff and I buy it. You know, there was like the Alice of the world, the you know, Muhammad and Jessica's, the people that like, I want to support you. I don't want you to give me anything for free.
Shout out to them.
So like those are the kind of people that can empower those black business owners, the people that are starting up to just like continue to go, because it can be demoralizing. The people that's supposed to be your friends are asking you for discounts or for free stuff. Like, it's already hard enough being starting up a business from the ground, like we mentioned earlier. Like, it's a grind.
It's a grind.
It
takes money to make money.
Takes,
like we was talking about, it takes money to make money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like for example, like me, when I graduated from college and I started my own production company, like the amount of people that were asking, people are like, great, you do videos? Amazing!
Yeah. Can you shoot me for free?
Yeah. Can you come do this stuff for free? And, you know, I had no choice at that time and I was doing it for free, but luckily some of them started paying me after a while. Like, when they could see that, because video is different from like clothing, like you could see the clothes, but like video you have to actually make one to show people. So I guess
you have to do some free work.
Right, that's what I was just about to say. I feel like sometimes you have to like Rihanna thing. Let somebody borrow it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? He didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it takes, but it has to be the right people.
It has to be the right people. Even like
people.
The first thing I designed, I sent it to people. I sent it to some of my close friends because I asked them for a favor. I want to create a video and a vision, and these are people that wanted to support me. They was like, yeah, shoot, send me stuff. So I had people who was taking videos of themselves, a picture, whether it was in New York, Atlanta, back in Memphis, and friends here who I would go ambush them. I needed to shoot. I need people. I'm trying to have different body type, different people to shoot. And you know, some stuff I had to pay for out of my pocket.
Right.
But it's the thing of when you creating a business, when you you have to. One thing I learned earlier, you have to invest in yourself.
Definitely.
You have to put money down for yourself, because if you can't put money down yourself, if you can't invest in yourself, then how are you gonna expect other people to support you?
Right.
You know.
Word.
So you know, I again, did the artwork, reach out to manufacturer how much this costs, and I need to design and people to send me videos, send them to me, horizontal and not, vertical. I have to edit this. I would stay up all night to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then I had to get up 6 o'clock the next day to go to my other job and then come back and redo it over again. So you go through all of that and then someone come ask you to do it for free. It's almost insulting, but again, understanding that it's part of the process.
It's very.
It is insulting.
It's very insulting.
It's part of the process.
They think. I feel like when them saying that, they think you're lower. You're like, oh, you ain't nothing yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
I want somebody to say, hey, here's this, and thank you. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like when I do some free videos, like someone be like, can you change this here? Can you take this out?
Oh my God.
Take one out. Keep it. You go out to take it like that, okay? Because you told me at the beginning this is what you want.
That's what you want, yeah.
And then I do it for you. You're not paying me.
Yeah.
Especially with his type of work and your work.
Trust me, I know. My brother is he does videos, he does mixtape and stuff like that. And for me as well, like a lot of my videos and production that I put out, I edited myself. Other than the one of the latest one I did. With one of our brothers that I work with here in the Bay Area named Ugo, that I wanted to work with another black creator, so I'm like, I didn't want to do all the work for myself, and so I basically told them a vision. I had like I had a video already made by myself that I sent it to him. I was like, okay, I want to work with him so that we could put both of our brands out there. But most of the stuff I edit and do it myself, so I completely understand like cutting, beats, and everything that goes into it. If you take one little clip out, you have to start all over. Yeah, you have to start all over again. So I completely understand that you do stuff for free and people are like, can you do this? Absolutely not. If I give it to you for free, that's what you. That's
say
what you
thank you and walk away.
Yeah, walk away.
Thank you
for sure.
I definitely, man. Whenever you have some time, man, I definitely want to pay to get an art piece, man. Definitely.
For sure.
I know it takes time. Whenever you have open time. And we go bring out some ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, cause I'll openly pay, especially for the pod.
Okay.
My pod.
Okay.
Something has to do with the pod.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because we already have a logo.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's great. That's something I can work around for sure.
Right. You have a logo already. You know what I mean? But we talked about this before I even met you.
Okay.
We want to get something done. And I'll fully pay.
The universe
Give
works
me the full
in
price.
mysterious ways to connect.
You know what I mean? Full price.
It took 7 episodes, but we're here now.
Right. Even like a backdrop, whatever you think would be for the pod, man. I want to get it. And when you see it pop up, it's gonna be made by him. Black
I got a lot of denim jackets, and then some work done.
That's a little different.
It's crazy because that is something that I've like, that's something that I've done for myself, and then again going from doing things for myself and people are like, oh, can you do this? It's like, it's crazy because like my schedule's been so busy with just like my regular job in addition to my artwork that I've had denim jackets and artwork that locked down for like over a year, and I feel so bad because like this is one of my friends. She's been like so patient, but luckily right now I'm working on it, and because it's just again so many different projects come up. And so many things happen in life. So for me, it's just like always just communicating with people and letting them know, like I haven't forgotten. I'm still working on it. And also as an artist, it's just like I get hit with different inspiration vibes in different times.
Exactly.
Sometimes and then the thing is, I will make something for myself. That's no pressure. I just make it because I want it. People be like, can you make something for me? And then I ask them, oh, what do you want? They're like, oh, just do your thing.
Yeah, you need ideas.
So like for me, it is like that's tough.
It's like we're in the same universe.
Hey, to be honest though, sometimes I be saying that shit.
It's like just do your thing. I trust you.
Like someone said, do a video for me. Like, cool. What kind of video do you want to do? It's like, wow, you see, like just come, right? Just put the camera and just and then just video's gonna happen.
I feel like a music video, you gotta have a plan. And
you have to have a plan because I'm making it for you. So then you like I appreciate the faith that you have in me, in my creativity. Like I appreciate you that you think, But with those type of things, they need to take time because I want to make something that I'm proud of, and I also want you to be proud of it as well. Right. So that's why some projects take longer than others, and then some stuff is just like you tell me and I'm like, let's have a conversation. If it's custom, I like to have a conversation with people because I want, when you see it, I want it to be for you. I want certain stuff that you're not gonna see anyone else with it.
It's certain things though, sometimes I'd be like, with like I'll give them my idea, but they're like, how you want this? I'm like, then that's when I'm like, okay, what do you think is gonna look better? You know,
that's different. That's different.
You know, that's me. I
because then I'm asking you to design it. You know,
like you already have like the idea of what you want, right? So it's up to the artist now to say, okay, would you prefer it in blue or would you prefer it in green?
Correct.
Right? And then the artist gets more specific on the details.
Yeah.
But as long as you have the main idea, like you're giving the artist like a roadmap.
Yes.
Of where to go.
Yes.
So,
that's cool. I always ask a dumb question. What do you think is better?
Yeah.
You know?
So like I would tell you, so like stuff that I'm designing right now, I kind of like collaborate with people. So like this is what you want. I tell me like, so I've made this. Like, oh, I want something like this, but this is kind of the name I want. And then I ask you like, what are your signs, numbers you like, things that are symbolic to you. And then I kind of take all that, and then I allow my mind to kind of just go with it, and then I create. But it is hard to kind of like make something for someone without any feedback or any vision.
Yeah.
So what I've done now is because they're stressful. So certain stuff that comes to mind, I just create it and put it out there.
What's the biggest art piece you've done so far?
So recently, obviously with everything that's been going on with with COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement and George Floyd, I've been very inspired to use my voice and use my platform to be an advocate for things that's going on. And it's crazy because I go back and look at some of my artwork. I did a 4-series denim piece last year called Support Black Art Always. And again, I've always, at the time I didn't think much about it. I just like wanted to put something out there that people can use to support black artists, because as you mentioned earlier, we need to support each other more.
Yes.
There's people that say we need to support black artists and never buy black art. And then for the artists themselves, it was also a message not only for people and also a message for me to also like not be discouraged and keep going. So like, yes, it was a two meaning in a sense, like support black artists for people like to see it, and also for the artists themselves to not get discouraged. Just if you ask them for support from other people, also like sometimes you have to be your biggest supporter, your biggest cheerleader, your biggest motivator.
Not sometimes,
to keep
all
going.
the time.
You have to. So it was kind of like a two-way thing when I did that piece. And then so a year later, I found myself in a space where I'm like, man, all of these things happen. How can I use my platform again for good? With my job, I work. I do ticket sales for the San Jose Sharks, and everything was happening. So then I just basically shared, with my company, with all the murders and police brutality, like how it was affecting me, and how I'm using my art to basically as an escape mechanism, and how I'm using my art to self-expression and things of that nature. So I shared it with my company, so that kind of started a dialogue within the company, and that was kind of the first time that I've shared my artwork with a lot of my colleagues. Some of my colleagues knew, but I never put my artwork out there like that because I like to keep the two worlds separated. But one thing I've learned recently is that I'm learning to embrace every part of myself as one, and not having to separate one way to kind of like, make people feel comfortable about certain things that I do.
I wish I met you last year because I used to work at SAP.
Okay.
With the people who actually own the San Jose Sharks. And so we used to do a lot of like stuff with them.
Okay.
I could have just easily plugged you back then, but I still know some people, so we can see what happens.
We can see what happens.
Yeah.
That's
why you come on this podcast.
Yeah, connection. You never know. Networking is everything.
Networking is
So yeah, I had that dialogue and I shared my piece, and then the marketing director, VP, saw my artwork, and he went to my Instagram, stalked my Instagram, and was like, "Oh yeah, you actually made some good artwork. We should do something." And again, I didn't think nothing of it. I just like, yeah, maybe we'll do something.
This guy, he got a job from this job. That's it. He got a job from editing for a company.
Yeah.
From this job.
One of my. So I used to work at this production company, but I was like a production assistant.
Okay.
And then, but my boss follows me on Instagram, and so he saw the podcast. Was like, man, you could edit. You want to edit for us? I was like, hell yeah.
Pay me, right?
Yeah.
How much though?
I'm gonna need a raise.
Right.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
No free labor.
Right.
I mean, at the beginning, you may have to do some stuff to kind of get your foot in.
Definitely.
And then once you get your foot in, then You gotta pay up. But yeah, similar situation. Then he went to my Instagram and stuff and was like, you make some good artwork, we should do something. And again, I thought nothing of it. And then Juneteenth was like literally around the corner. So then we were thinking about the company, we want to do something for Juneteenth. And then, so the creative, one of our creative managers with the team reached out. She was one of the people who knew that I did art. So it was like someone in the company that I always go kick it. She's like a really, really good friend of mine. So she reached out. She was like, hey, we're thinking about doing a piece for Juneteenth, and we want to get like a black artist to do it. Would you like to do it? Then again, I'm like excited. Of course, I'm like, yes, I want to do it. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm like nervous and scared because it's a big thing. It's something that's bigger than me, right? And I was like, yes. And it was like on a Friday, and she was like, yeah. So like, yeah, we need you to do it and turn it in by Tuesday. So there's that.
That's another thing that about people that don't know how long it takes to create. And they'll be like, so like you just do this, you just do that, right? It's like today, like tomorrow, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like, it was a very close window. So it was like, yeah, we need to turn it by Tuesday, and then that Friday was Juneteenth, so we want to release it by then. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, so mind you, that weekend I also had committed to another project that I was working on. One of my other biggest projects as well in Silicon Valley Sports. I was putting an installation in the gym. So in the midst of I was doing that weekend, and then this project got handed to me. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And then I get off the phone with her. I'm like, what in the world? How am I gonna? Yeah, like, what am I gonna? And again, it was just like whatever you want to do kind of thing. So my discretion. Yeah. So I go on Google, like Googling Juneteenth. What do I want to say? What do I want to paint? And then luckily, Michael's was open that week because like the week prior before Michael's was open, so like there was no art supplies. So like luckily it just like things kind of worked how it needed to work. So I went to Michael's, bought a canvas, and then I was like brainstorming like what do I want to make. And then I went to the internet and just looking, and it was one of the things I feel like it was meant to be because normally it takes a while, but the idea came to me so easy. I saw an image and then I was like, okay, I want to use this. And then look like the Sharks logo is the sharks biting on the hockey stick. So then I saw like this image of like these hands in shackles, and like the shackles are breaking. So I was like, what if I put the sharks logo in between the shackles? So instead of breaking the hockey stick, it can be breaking the shackle to symbolize that the sharks are taking a stance against systemic racism and being part of the conversation, because that's one thing the organization wanted to do. So then that just kind of came about. So I just kind of drew it. So I bought the thing. I went to Michael's, bought the canvas, went to Silicon Valley Sports, came back later on that night and started, sketched a little bit, paint a little bit, then went to Silicon Valley, 8 hours painting on that wall and stuff like that by myself. And this was like freehand. Yeah. I was freehanding. I send you the pictures of so you can see. Freehanding this.
We'll put all that.
And then come back to my apartment, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, paint till like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, get some sleep, get up the next morning, do some work on it. But like I was exhausted, but I knew that it's something that I needed to do.
It was right.
A step is a step.
And I did it, and then I sent it. And then it was like, oh my God, this is great. Again, because I was just like, I'm nervous because it's like, to me, I was like, it's a good idea. But then again, you never know how people are gonna take it. Yeah. But for me, like either way, I'm just like the intent behind it was, again, I'm trying to create a dialogue here within our fans and fans in the NHL, which are very diverse, but to have this conversation. So I sent it in, and people was like, oh my God, this is great. And then they reached out and it was like, okay, we want to like auction the canvas, can we put it on shirt and stuff? And I was like, absolutely. I love putting my art on shirt because I love my art to travel. Again, it's a discussion, conversation starter, and people can have discussions on it. So we did that, and they wanted to auction off the canvas, and we did. And one of the things I was super, super proud of with that project is that we put it out and we talked about, okay, so how can we use this for good? So my foundation director, I had a conversation with her, and one of the foundations that we work with here in San Jose is a Silicon Valley Communities I'm forgetting, the Silicon Valley Community Service Agency in the Bay Area here. So it's one of the black nonprofit in the area that I worked with before. So it was like, we should auction up the canvas and then sell a t-shirt, and all the proceeds would go to them, and the foundation, the Sharks Foundation, matched all the proceeds from it. So we were able to raise $17,000 with something I created out of,
that's dope.
So that's something that I'm like super proud of. One of the biggest things that I did, it went out to social media, and my social media was like blowing up. Like a lot of my coworkers, no one knew, because I'm one of those people. I work in silence. I like to do the work, and then let the work speak for itself. So it went out. People are like, oh my God, you like social famous, and I'm like, I got like article in. It's like Bleacher Reports, the NHL website. So like I've had friends who's just like, I can't believe, like, who am I seeing? People are just like rolling through like their Bleacher Report art.
Bleacher Report.
And then see Sharks employee artist. They was like, wait, I know him.
Bleacher Report.
So it was like all over. And
we're gonna find that and put that.
Yeah,
we're gonna put all the links down here for sure.
So that was something that I was super proud of. Not for the fame, not for the retweet, but because I put something out there, the impact, and we're also able to raise money to impact the community that I'm in.
And you probably inspired somebody.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Juneteenth, enough should be. That's a huge day for the black community.
Correct.
I feel like it should be celebrated more.
Yeah. It should be a paid holiday. That's basically what we're trying to.
Like 4th of July.
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, 4th of July is Independence Day, right? Mm-hmm. Or am I right?
Yeah.
Independence Day, right?
For some people.
Oh yeah.
He's looking at me.
My bad.
Like I'm American.
My bad. I forget.
He's like, I don't know.
Well, I think it's a celebration of I think the day we were free.
Correct.
But
y'all chose that day as the day to do it. Yeah.
Not all black people are free.
We're not free. Yeah, we're not working for nobody, but we working for somebody. You know what I mean? We can't drive down the street without cops turning their head, pulling us over. You know what I mean? And they always want to say, they always tell us, oh, they provoked it, they were angry, they were talking back, man, just because you got a whole bunch of people talking back. I understand some people, they might not do what they're doing right, it might not be right, but they don't deserve to die for it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I hate the last one, like the last dude. They said he wasn't there for stopping the fight. He was
It doesn't matter. Look, it was his kid's birthday party.
Right.
Okay? And he had an argument with the mom.
Right.
First of all, black people, honestly, like, why would you call the cops in this situation? The cops show up, things escalate, he's going to his car. Like, that's the most least threatening thing I've ever seen in my life. But 7 times.
They said, really?
He had a knife.
He had a knife?
He had a knife.
I know about 1 million people I know who carry pocket knives, and they're leaving it in their car. You know what I mean? Don't mean he was reaching for it. He's probably going in the car because his kids were in the car. You know what I mean? His kids were in the car. He probably thought about what he was doing. Like, okay, let me stop doing what I'm doing.
Philando Castile as well.
I don't care what he was doing though.
It's a lot.
I don't care what he was doing.
The thing that's disheartening is that people try to
make... he's alive, but he's crippled now.
Right. Oh, he's right. He didn't die. I'm sorry. He didn't die. But
his life is altered.
It's changed.
His life is altered. His family,
he's one of the lucky ones.
Children will always remember that. Yes. They're like traumatized because of that. And it's disheartening when people try to find a reason to say, yeah, someone deserved to die because they didn't do a certain thing. Well, if they listen, or if they laid on the ground, or if they didn't do. We've seen it all. We've seen people laid on the ground. We've seen people running away. We've seen people not running away. It's like, when is enough enough?
Right. There was a kid went to a Black Lives Matter rally, right? A protest.
Yeah.
A protest, and he started shooting people because there's always the ones breaking stuff or whatever. That's not right. You know what I mean? But that kid to come, and he didn't even live in that state they were in.
Oh, he was like 2 states,
he lived 2 states away. He came all the way just to make sure nobody was.
The white kid with the pistol.
You know what I mean? He came out there with a plan.
And then the sheriff said he wanted to make things right or something like that.
Right.
That was his
ain't no officer.
But had that
then they started posting videos of him like cleaning up messes and doing nice shit. When have they ever done that for a black person ever?
Well, that's not in their agenda.
It's
that's not the propaganda. Is if it's black and he gets shot,
you show his mug picture.
Correct. He didn't pay when he was 12. He stole candy from a
right.
You know, it's just like how do we defame his character even more? You know,
right. That's ridiculous.
So again, more people have to be alert of that. It's just like the propaganda, the imagery, the things that they're trying to.
If you're not honestly, if you're still defending those behaviors in 2020, like you are a born and bred racist. It's in your blood.
I say that every time.
Consciously or subconsciously, you're racist. Maybe you don't know it yet. Maybe you haven't discovered it yet. But now I'm telling you. This is your diagnosis, okay?
I said it, bro. If
you're suffering from racism, get a cure, okay?
I think if you're going against Kaepernick, you're racist. How would you understand? People have been in the military, right? Mm-hmm. People in the military understand they sacrifice their life for us. I understand that 100%. But he millions of times said, I kneel not to disrespect the military people. I'm not disrespecting. I kneel is because the officers in the world are killing us.
Again, like you said, you mentioned a million times what he was trying to do. Bring awareness to social injustice and things that are wrong with this country. The issue that people that have problem with that is that their privilege have allowed them to live in a bubble.
Right.
So for them, they don't see the problem.
They don't see anything.
He is messing up their euphoria by telling them America is not the greatest country there is, which is what we've been told in all the schools, all the information, all the movies that we're the greatest country in the world. And don't get me wrong, like America has a lot of great things for a lot of opportunities, but just because you want to say stuff about your country that isn't right, that doesn't mean that you dislike your country.
Right.
I feel like actually that's like the opposite way. You want your country to be better.
Exactly.
You want to hold people accountable.
Preach.
And the thing is, we don't want to be held accountable. Our history of America is not really nice. It's not very clean.
No.
So then anyone that's trying to bring up those past, the people that have the privilege, that's trying to protect those at all costs, they feel some type of way.
I remember someone saying, I forgot who said it, but the person was saying that the history we have of America was written by a white person. So when a white person was writing, this is the nicest way they could put it down.
Well, they said Columbus founded America, so
imagine, the person said, imagine if a black person or a Native American wrote the history of this country.
Right.
Can you imagine what that would look like? This is the nicest version.
Yeah.
The nicest version.
There's a lot of dark history to our history.
And we have to, the thing is that we can't escape that though.
We can't.
That's part of our history. And the thing is that people, when you're trying to bring up those histories, people feel some type of way. They want to shut that down because they don't want their bubbles, their euphoria to be, messed with. How do you tell me that, I'm not just rich because I put myself up by the bootstrap, and that the fact that, my parents and their parents and their grandparents and their parents became rich because of, slave labor. Right. How come, I can, if I made it here, I went to Harvard, you can do the same thing. Why does people, again, like these ideas that it's very like, you ask yourself as a minority because, you live a different world, like, are you okay? Like, what books did you read growing up?
That's they teach us in school. They try to, they mess with our heads as a kid.
Pick and choose what to educate.
Man, because like,
what's put in
what is it? Trump just did something
about the New York Times.
It was about the police training things we're talking about.
No, it was certain thing. Yeah, he wanted to. He didn't want to learn in school.
So New York Times did 17. Wow, I'm forgetting my date. This is really bad. 1619. I think that's 1619. The 400. This New York Times reporter just did like a beautiful. Actually, I'm listening to the podcast. She basically just went from 1619, just a 400 years of slavery, and how everything in this country, the foundation of every entity in this country, is based upon slavery. Because, it is what it is.
Right.
But
you need slaves to work on the plantation where you got the crops to export to get money. So technically,
that's a lot. Technically, selling black bodies, like just everything that this country,
like that whole street that got killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was that? Was it I don't want to try to even guess. I know it's the street, that whole business street that got killed. Like lots of black people.
You're talking about Tulsa.
I ain't never learned that. Black Wall Street, right? Yep. I ain't never learned about that in school. Nope. Why do I learn about this? I'm kind of glad this shit is going on now because I'm learning more than I ever learned in school. Yeah. You know what I mean? Exactly. I'm actually looking shit up now myself because I don't like people tell me.
I'm like walking around with a book.
Right.
Every little moment that I have, I've been like educating myself.
You
reading,
have to
because it's like they're not. The system isn't put in place to teach you American history as it happened.
Right.
It's to teach you history as they want you to see it, as they want you to see the country.
And like I remember even the pancake thing, was it Aunt Gemma or Auntie, the thing with the pancakes, remember?
Like Jemima.
Yeah. So I bought that pancake because there was a black woman on it, on God. I thought it was a black business.
Me too.
And I didn't buy other ones that look like white. Going to find out, it's the whitest company that owns it. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
They use the image to prey on you.
Exactly.
It's just a lot. So
I want to say this: Trump is smarter than a lot of people think.
How is he the president?
He sounds dumb.
Strategic.
He's putting he makes you. He says shit that you might. This dude has no clue what the fuck doing. He's not. He doesn't.
It's because you're not his audience.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
You're not his audience.
He's a politician. A businessman.
But if you really watch what he's doing, he's trying to really come after black people. A lot of people say, oh, he's doing better for us. No. You know what I mean?
I like to see it. I don't know.
I mean, where was that? Where did that happen?
A lot of people think now because everybody think they're woke and shit like that. And say, oh man, Trump's actually doing better for black people. And he probably done little things.
What it is?
Right? Because they got a $1,200 check.
Yeah, for the pandemic. So
that shit. That shit don't mean nothing, man.
That shit don't even pay rent.
Here in the Bay Area, they can't even pay half of my rent.
Right. And we're losing light, so I want to start. I want to finish this quick, but I just want to say, dude, educate yourself.
Read a book.
Listen
to a podcast.
Right. Google.
Have conversation with friends that are different than you, have different life experiences than you. Get outside of your privilege. The information is out there, and you have to do the work. We all have to do the work to educate ourselves.
I think the best thing we could do is have a conversation, be open to conversations.
Yeah.
And honestly, don't just talk about black problems with just black people. Go out and talk about black problems with other people, because that's the best. The only way that even the civil rights movement started was because Emmett Till's mom shared the picture of his face, of his body after he was killed. That's how all this stuff started. And you can ask, I was gonna say you can ask MLK, but he's gone. My point is, if you watch all the videos and if you listen to all the things,
read your books,
pictures, you would see a lot of white people there as well. That's the only way this thing can move. We need them to help us. They have the keys to the doors that we need to be open. So we need to go out there and have those conversations. And I would say educate. I won't say convince, because if you tell someone the truth and they don't understand it, then they have a problem.
Right.
So I would just say educate people, and that's how change will start.
And I want to thank you, man. Appreciate you coming. I know you're busy schedule. You do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, though, man. Today was a really good podcast. They learned something. I learned something from you. Hopefully, you learned something from me.
And also, after all the learning, go buy some merch.
Right. Okay? Go buy some merch.
Support black business.
You know what I mean? Come support this black man. He got a plan. He's inspired. He's not doing nothing crazy. He's doing something to better people, to inspire people for the good. That's what we need to support, the good right now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we need. Positive.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I mean, when I got the invite, I was just like, absolutely. Again, one of the things I love about what I do is the opportunity to connect with people, and people be able to see my work and be able to connect with it, and seeing people like yourself who are doing podcasts and inviting different people onto your platform to again share that with your platform and the people that follow you guys. I feel like that means the world for someone like myself who is still new. And again, I've been in for 4 years, but again, I'm still new and getting new people all the time to follow what I'm doing and things of that nature. So I would say to anyone that listening that follows you guys is just do you have a dream, a vision, or something that you want to do? Just put the work in. It's not about the Instagram likes and you know, how many people can retweet
That's
or whatever the case may be. That comes with the territory,
right.
But that can't be be the goal. You know, try to put stuff out there that people like. Just do something that you're passionate about. Be willing to work and put work in it, time and effort. Put money behind it, because in what I do as an artist, as someone who also have another job in addition to what I do, it's not easy. Some days I ask myself, like, why am I doing this? And oftentimes I'm reminded why most people quit before, you know,
right
before they make it.
Yeah.
And I'm tested with that all the time. Like sometimes I'm just like, man, this is crazy. It's 6 o'clock. I gotta get up in an hour to you know, get on Zoom and talk to people and pretend that, you know, I have energy and, you know, all is well.
Shout out to Zoom.
You know, and you don't have to put on your face, but you know, you have to.
I just like the video, no video. Yeah, just take the voice.
You know, you have to respect the grind. You have to grind. You have to put in the hours, and you can't do it for someone to tell you, you know, you're doing great. Sometimes you have to grind and do it all by yourself. And eventually, people see the vision later. So don't get discouraged if you're not getting the numbers that you want at the beginning. You're not getting the followers you're getting at the beginning. You're not selling the amount of merch or whatever the case it is that you feel like you're getting at the beginning. Keep grinding, keep grinding, keep grinding, and the rest of it will take care of itself. So thank you guys for
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Follow, subscribe, and share.
Follow him.
This is the new Virgil Abloh, okay? In the making. Get that photo now, okay? Get that photo now.
Thank you.